Hello friends, welcome back to Greta's Travels and welcome to the Maldives. We are in Thulusdhoo, which is a local island, and in this video I'm going to share with you all of the best things you can do on this local island in the Maldives. So let's go! First things first, how do you get to Thulusdhoo? There are two main ways to get there from Malé International Airport. The easiest one is a fast ferry, which sets off directly from the airport, costs $25, run various times throughout the day, and takes around 30 minutes to reach Thulusdhoo. The other option is the public ferry. This is considerably cheaper since it only costs $1.50 per person, but it can take over 2 hours as it stops at other islands on the way and it only runs once a day, so you have to make sure the times work for you. It also sets off from the harbour in Malé, so you first have to get to Malé from the airport. This is easy to do with a sea taxi, but it's just another extra step. Obviously, one of the best things to do in the Maldives, regardless of what island you're on, is to go to the beach. But you have to remember that the Maldives is a Muslim country, so it doesn't really matter when you're in a resort island, but when you're in a local island, you can only be in a bikini on the designated bikini beach. You're not allowed to be in a bikini anywhere around the island, so it doesn't really matter. This beach is beautiful, but it's just something to be aware of. Thulusdhoo is famous for being a surf island. The main activity to do here is obviously surfing, and the main surf spot is Cokes, and we're just gonna go check it out now. This is Cokes, one of the most famous surf spots in the Maldives. Cokes is the main and only surf spot you can access directly from Thulusdhoo, but there are loads of other waves in the area. The closest one is called Chickens, and it breaks by the resort island just in front of Bikini Beach. On Bikini Beach, you will find loads of boat taxis that will take you there, wait for you, and bring you back to Thulusdhoo for $10. There are also other surf spots in nearby islands like Ninjas, Jailbreak, and Sultan, which you can visit on a surf trip from Thulusdhoo, which usually costs $20 per person, but they'll often say they need a minimum number of people to run it. One thing you should bear in mind about surfing in Thulusdhoo is that the good wave season is in summer from June to October, which is actually rainy season in the Maldives. So if surfing is the main thing you want to do in Thulusdhoo, you can take advantage of lower low season prices. So from Thulusdhoo, you can organize loads of fun excursions to nearby islands, and the easiest way to do this is to just arrange them at one of these many kiosks that you'll find along the beach. They all kind of offer similar excursions, for example, to see turtles in a sandbank, to see sharks and stingrays, to see a coral garden and nurse sharks, and the prices are all quite similar, so you can just go up and down the beach and try and see if anyone's organizing the tours, because they usually ask for a minimum number of participants, and it's usually 4 or 5. So if you're a solo traveler or a couple, you will need to find someone who already has other people for the tour and who will be doing a group tour. Even if you don't surf, you won't get bored in Thulusdhoo. We only did the tours that took us snorkeling to see cool marine life, but you can do loads of other stuff too, like spending a day at a resort or doing a sunset dolphin cruise. The first tour we did was the Turtle and Sandbank tour. We paid $35 per person and were happy to find a tour provider that took us alone, without having to wait to have a group of 4 or 5 people. We visited the turtle spot first, which I was surprised about as it was a coral reef in the middle of the sea, quite far from any island, and from above, from outside the water, you couldn't really see much, but once you jump in, you'll see just how beautiful it is. Obviously, the turtles are the stars of the show, but we actually saw loads of cool fish, colorful corals, and even a white-tip shark. We then went to the Sandbank, which, as the name suggests, is basically just a very small island made only of sand, which is only visible at low tide. There's not much to do, but it's a very cool place to just admire the incredibly clear turquoise sea. The next tour we did was to see nurse sharks and the coral garden, and it was probably my favorite. It costs a bit more, it's $70 per person, and they need to have at least 4 people, since the nurse shark island is further away from Thulusdhoo, but it's well worth it. These sharks are generally harmless for humans, and swimming alongside them is a pretty magical experience. After the nurse sharks, we visited another coral garden where we saw even more turtles, fish, and corals.
The final tour we did was to see sharks and stingrays. This one is also fairly close to Thulusdhoo and only costs $35 per person. The shark point seemed a bit of an odd spot as it was just outside the wave break off of our resort island, but we did indeed see plenty of sharks. Blacktip sharks are generally harmless for humans,
and they're actually often scared of us and they will swim off if you try to get too close. After that, we went to see stingrays, which are concentrated around an old fish farm. They told us that the fish farm used to discard all the fish waste in the sea just outside, and that's why stingrays now gather in the area. Watching the sunset on the beach is a great thing to do anywhere, and here in Thulusdhoo you can do so in two main spots. One is Sunset Beach, just right at the opposite side of the island compared to Bikini Beach, and then the other is like a jetty at the end of Bikini Beach, between Bikini Beach and the harbour, and it's a great place to come at the end of the day and enjoy the sunset. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video about Thulusdhoo. It's a beautiful local island here in the Maldives and there is so much to do. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and make sure to come back next week for a new Maldives video. We have so many fun videos to share with you from the Maldives, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. Thank you. Bye.